Labour has officially won the 2024 general election after reaching the required 326 seats. Conservatives have won in 66 seats, Liberal Democrats in 48 and Sinn Féin in 6 seats. So far, results for 513 of the 650 seats have been declared. Speaking in central London, the next Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said, "Change begins now. It feels good, I have to be honest," he told a cheering crowd.
You voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
The Conservative Party conceded defeat in a fairly short speech. Incumbent Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said, and I'm quoting him here, "Labour has won this election."
That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts.
Sunak was speaking after being re-elected from Richmond and North Allerton. Keir Starmer has also won his seat in Holborn and St Pancras in London. Ed Davey, the leader of Liberal Democrats, has been re-elected in Kingston and Surbiton. Reform UK's Nigel Farage has been elected as Clacton MP, his first win in 8 attempts. Jeremy Corbyn has been re-elected as MP for Islington North as an independent. In high-profile upsets for the Conservatives, Leader of the House of Commons, Penny Mordaunt, has narrowly lost in her constituencies, Portsmouth North. Defence Secretary Grant Shapps has lost his seat in Welwyn Hatfield. And well, for more on this, we're now being joined by Nicholas Nugent, who is a journalist, and he's joining us live from London. Welcome to the show, Mr. Nugent. Now, good morning to you. Now, Rishi Sunak has conceded defeat and has congratulated Keir Starmer on the historic win, saying that there is much to learn and reflect on. According to you, what were some of the defining moments of this election, and were there any surprises or non-surprises?
Well, let's try the second question first. I think no surprises at all, because the opinion polls have been predicting this massive upset for the Conservative Party and victory for the Labour Party for some months, certainly since before the election was called. Perhaps the figures weren't quite accurate, but the fact is that Labour are heading for a landslide victory. Not quite the super majority that you would have in the Lok Sabha, but very close to it. So something like a 2/3 majority, giving them a very powerful mandate to rule. But as for the reasons or defining moments, I think it's collective. It's a weariness with 14 years of Conservative rule. And perhaps if you want to put your finger on one reason in particular, it's the economy. The economy is in a bad way. Public services are in a bad way. We're just not growing as the economy that you would expect under a Conservative government. After all, Conservatives are committed to business, prosperity and growth. And we're not getting any of those three things. We're pretty stagnant with the economy. So that, I think, is number one reason for the Conservatives' defeat. But you could go on beyond that and find others, such as the immigration policy or the determination to cut down immigration, especially illegal immigration. That's just not worked. They've failed so far. Rishi Sunak has made a big point of stopping the boats, in other words, stopping illegal immigration, but he hasn't succeeded in doing that. So that's probably closely behind the economy as a reason for the failure. But you could just say, look back over your 14 years and you've had 5 Conservative rulers, 5 prime ministers, which is well, it's a bit excessive. I think you have to agree, even if one of them only lasted 49 days. That's Liz Truss. So many reasons, but I don't think any surprises. We really were expecting a change of government, and we more or less knew what the size of the Labour Party majority would be. That's been predicted for some time.
Right, Mr. Nugent, I was just coming to that the next Prime Minister of the UK will have a host of issues to deal with. And with the Labour Party's win, Keir Starmer heads to 10 Downing amid the ongoing cost of living crisis and the dismal condition of the health services, like you've just pointed out. Starmer says that we have to return politics to public services. Well, the question being, what will be on top of Starmer's to-do list once he enters number 10?
Well, quite a lot of things. I mean, you mentioned the health service, I mentioned immigration, but number one, as I said, is the economy. I think what we're all waiting to see is how he handles that with effectively a bankrupt government, because a lot of the campaign was the Conservatives accusing Keir Starmer's Labour Party of wanting to put up taxes. And of course, he denied that he had any intention of putting up the main taxes, the taxes that affect most people. So he hasn't got any money, let's put it like that. So he either has to cut something out in order to find the funds to restore the health service, which has very long waiting lists at the moment, or he has to find a clever way of taxing that doesn't affect most people. Because I mean, you've heard the word poverty used. A lot of people are living close to the breadline. Maybe it doesn't seem like that. We are a relatively prosperous country, but we also have a welfare state. And if people are falling below the breadline and having to be helped by the state in their daily living, then that's not a situation where you can increase taxes. So Keir Starmer has a very hard challenge to put things right. But, you know, he starts with an advantage that the public mood is behind him. We've seen that in the election. He has a lot of people who put their trust in him. And I might say a lot of people who instinctively support the Labour Party were not very impressed with Keir Starmer. He's slightly lacking in charisma and forthrightness. But that speech you just carried an extract from about less than an hour ago, I think it was 40 minutes, once he passed the threshold and made it absolutely clear he would be forming the government, he spoke, I would say, very prime ministerially. So as I say, people have put their confidence in him.
Right.
He's sounding like a prime minister, and by the end of the day, he will be the prime minister formally. Now, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, obviously, what he's going to do, first of all, is to appoint his team. And we mainly know who the front runners will be, particularly his finance minister or Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, who again has got a high public profile and been accepted well. But I don't know what's going to happen in the first few days. I only know that there is a new mood of hope that things will get better.
Right, Mr. Nugent, clearly Keir Starmer sounded very prime ministerial, like you said. He clearly said that public is ready for change and politics needs to transfer more into public service. But thanks very much for joining us on WION World is One with your insights.